Welcome to our viewers on YouTube. I guess we're live there now. Okay. We will start exactly in a minute. So, good morning to everybody who are just joining us. Let's go. I think the timing might be a little too early for people because we're not getting a lot of people in the room live, but we get more people watching the videos themselves. Right, there are over 7,000 people looking at the videos on YouTube, but we would like to have people live so they can ask questions, right? We started that daily short webinars. So your question, we started those, but we stopped them because it's time consuming. I really don't have that much time, to be honest. I wish I had more time. I would try to do that again after I come back from holiday, which would be way in September. So let me start. We're exactly in the time. Let's start. We don't have to record anything. Yes. Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the Weekly Outlook. Glad to see so many of you here. I hope I can see more people live in the room itself because we do have the same amount of people looking at the videos on YouTube, right? So please help share the videos. At least people can see it. They will learn something from it. I think a few people, I should say, are finding my videos controversial. And that's a good point. Actually, I like that. I like, especially for those few people, I like the fact that people think I'm controversial because I'm giving you the truth. Right? I'm actually telling you as it is. So if you don't like it, that's okay. I was thrown out on TradingView for exactly that. Explaining to them that people are hyping on their site and there are a lot of scammers on their site. They didn't like that, they threw me out. So one person asked, well, why were you thrown out? Right? And I said to them, well, would you do what I did? If you were the top trader in TradingView and you're trying to scam traders, let's think of it this way. If you were trying to scam traders or you're on top of the list, would you do anything to get out of there? No, that's what a lot of people are saying. Why did you do that? You could have stayed quiet. You'd stay on top of the list. You'd be. I said, no, that's not what I want. I'm not here to scam people, so I don't care if they throw me out or not. I will tell it as it is. If there's scammers on your site, I would say that. Now, didn't I know that might get me off the list or get me thrown out from their site? Of course I know. But that doesn't stop me from being who I am. So if you don't like my little talks in between my webinar, don't look at my videos. That's it. You have a choice. Because I find as a trader, and as a trader who is serious and who is a pro trader, I think it is my duty to warn new traders of scammers out there. Because of the 800 people in my group, more than 60 or 70 or 80% of them were scammed before they joined the group. They had to pay for crazy stuff. Some of them paid more than once for those crazy stuff and get nothing out of it before they eventually come to learn to trade. And there's still about 90% of the traders out there who are being scammed daily. So you don't like me saying it? I know there are going to be trolls the last time. There was a lot of trolls in the video. The good thing is YouTube is kind of blocked them now. Once you use the same IP address to troll more than once, your message doesn't even show up, right? So nobody sees it. Once I block you once for trolling, you have to find a new IP address to troll me again. That's the good thing that YouTube is doing now, right? So you can waste your time because I see 50 something message appears, but I only see 20 message under the video, which means 30 of them were trying to troll and they got blocked, right? 30 of them, it can be from the same person. He's using the same IP address. And he got blocked immediately. Now, if you want to troll, that's okay. You're doing what you know to do good. I'll do what I know to do good. So if you don't like me calling out people, some said, hey, why are you criticizing all the traders? No, I haven't. I don't. Name me a single trader who I criticize. Or show me anywhere in my video where I call a name. I can tell you what I criticize. I criticize people who sell support and resistance as a way of trading because it's not good. I criticize people who trade pin bars as a strategy to trade because it's not good. I criticize specific strategies, specific things in the Forex. I criticize people who sell signals. I never said a name. I said anybody who is selling signal is scamming you. Don't buy their signals. Because you can never become a good trader by buying signals. So you don't like me saying that? You have a choice. That's the whole thing about this world. We all have choices. I'm from Guyana. I used to live in Russia. Now I'm living in Dubai. Those are choices I made. And if I don't like it here, I'll move somewhere else. That's a choice. I not merely like it. I could move because of other reasons. That's a choice. You have a choice. Make your choice. Don't waste your time. If you like what I do, if you like what you get, the substance you get from my video, then make use of it. And if you like it, show it to somebody else, because there are a lot of people who make use of it. 7,000 people watch it every week. I would not change what I'm doing for one person or two person who sell signals and don't like me to talk about it. Right? If you're buying signals, stop doing that right now. You will only lose money. It's that signal. It's that simple, sorry. All right, let's go. That's today's thought, right? Don't buy signals. Let's go. We're on to this. It's doing exactly as we said it's going to do. It's going to continue to go up. Well, now is the point where you have to expect a correction to come. Remember, every time they move a certain amount, they will correct, they will correct, they will correct. They will make these corrections. It doesn't matter if it's trending. It doesn't matter if it's a correction. Once you get an impulse, it will be followed by a correction. So I think it's about time we get a bigger correction, right? So I would be looking for a bigger correction. You notice they broke the top, but they didn't go. When they broke the tops, they actually went. So those were good trades for you. Now you're noticing if you took that trade, you got out for break even or you got it for a small profit. And if you look at the 1 hour, you're probably going to see a reversal coming. What does that mean? It's simple. You're going to get an impulse. You wait to see if you get a correction, and then you take that trade down. Now, can this become a bigger correction? Possible. What if you take that trade and it turns from here to the upside? Hey, if you know anything about trading, you know what to do. First, you will have to set up a plan where you're going to get out when they break this low. If they're going to go back up, you have to get out of the trade and be ready for the buy. The second thing, if this continues to go, you stay in the trade. Now, that is very difficult to do. So let me take 1 minute here again to stress that. This is very difficult to do. Get in a trade and stay with it when it's going in your direction. And I'm going to show you a trade call I made in this room like about a month ago, more than once, that you should get in that trade and you should stay in it because it's going to continue to go. Now, traders always ask me, why do you say break top, break bottom, and turn, or break top, break bottom, and go in the opposite direction? And that has to do with specific patterns of different time frames that we're looking at. So there's some trades when I would say, okay, it's going to break the low and it's going to turn and go up. And there's some that I would say, okay, just let it go. It's going to break the low, pull back, but continue to go. And that has to do with the specific patterns we're looking at on the daily and the monthly and the weekly, right? They have a going power. They're going to continue to go no matter they pull back. So there's a good chance that this could turn to the downside totally or just correct and go back up. So which of the two it's going to do? And since both possibilities exist, you trade, you use a strategy that prevents you from getting a loss if either of them happen, but you will look for the sell. The one thing you know is I will look for that sell. And then I will manage my trade. If it comes here and turn, I'll manage my trade into break even and get into buy. If it continues to go, I will stay with that trade. Now, if you don't know how to do that, you need a lot of practice and training. You need to understand a lot of things before you can do it. It's not that easy to do. But look for the sell. That means euro, you're looking for a correction, you're looking for a buy. You can see by the line I put here that you're already looking for a buy setup. You're looking for a correction. I didn't say the reversal as I said. You're looking, as of now, it's a correction to the upside. Whether that correction turns into a long-term reversal will depend on how we view the daily pattern. Will depend on how we view this daily pattern. I'm a little convinced now that we might get a very big move to retest the slope. Well, it's not now. We've been looking at that pattern for a couple of months, but we don't have enough reasons to think that that pattern is exactly the pattern that will happen. If we get a daily consolidation here, that will totally convince us of downside. For now, you have a short-term trade to the upside. Take it to the upside, move your stops, protect what you have, and make sure you can take out the couple pips out of it. I think this is going to make a consolidation and go up somewhat. It might be a small trade if they're going to continue to go down. So you'll have to be careful. It could just be a correction. Pound, I think you want to look for a correction, but more downside. I believe pound is going to go much more downside, right? Remember the breaking the top and turn? Why we're looking for that? Because we're looking for 1, 2, 3. We have 3 now. So the question is this all of the third? Is this a turning point to the downside? And if you remember the weekly, let me just remind you, because if you go back to a webinar I did, I don't know, about a month ago or 3 months ago, you would remember me telling you when this was happening and people were going crazy. Oh my God, look, it's going up, it's going up. What is he saying? Look, it's going up, and he's saying that this is a corrective structure. Well, let me remind you now why I was saying that. I told you this structure is looking very corrective. So no matter what happens, even if you're going to continue to go up, one thing needs to happen for sure. They have to make a bigger correction. It went up a little more. Everybody's freaked out and panicked. We're right back at square one. Remember another lesson I taught you guys. Never be afraid of the market. The market is not out to get you. Never be afraid. If you're afraid of the market, you probably shouldn't be a trader. Or you need to spend more time gaining knowledge about the market. Because when you gain knowledge about the market and understand how structure moves, you get rid of that fear of the market, that it's going against you, that the market is out to get you. Well, they weren't out to get you. They went up and they came back right here. It's not like they're out to get you, right? Because that's what structure does. So if it is going to continue to go up, they need to make a bigger correction here and then go. They always make a bigger correction before they continue. They always make a bigger correction before they continue. Unless you see that, there is no proof they're going to continue to go up. So if we get that here, great. We will all be buying that for a long time. But this by itself could be corrective as it stands. So can we go to retest the low? Absolutely. How would you know it's going to do that? I think if I ask a question, all of you will say, well, give me a smaller correction here. And I will take the trade down, give me another correction. And I'll take that trade down, give me another correction. And I'll take that trade down. Make a bigger correction, drop, I will take that trade down. Once we break this low, we're going to make a monthly, yearly uptrend. This, if they do tag that low, this will be the final impulse to the downside before you start a yearly trend to the upside. How do I know that? Because of the structure we're looking at. It's the same thing how I knew they were going to turn at the top on the yearly chart. And they turn exactly that area, right? So this is what you do. There is no more impulse after this one on the weekly, yearly, monthly structure. This could possibly be the last impulse to the downside if it happens. If it doesn't happen, there will be enough reasons for us to know it's not going to happen. Give me a consolidation in this zone. Stay right in this zone here, and we will all be buyers. It's as simple as that. I could end the webinar right there because it's that simple. It's not that complicated. If you're scared of the market, you probably don't have enough knowledge of how the market behaves. And that is why you're scared. So what we're looking for here now, one out of two things. Give us a correction and continue to go down, or give us an impulse, a correction, and stay within this range for the next couple of months. I don't think this tree is enough for them to go. Time-wise, this tree is too short. So if they're going to make a weekly correction to go up, they'll probably be here for the next couple of months. If they don't, we're expecting much more downside. So we're all in the sell, and you don't need to get out of the sell. You just need to move your stops, depending on what your views is. I don't see any reason to get out of the sellers yet because we have no sign we're turning. All I have is a sign they're going to make a correction. But if you look at the corrections they made, look at that one, look at this one, look at that one. Remember, those are corrections you're supposed to sell under, right? You're supposed to have an entry order here as of last week, which means if you took that, you'll put your stop here. If they just do this and continue to go, you keep moving that stop. If they come up here and do this and they don't take, if they take you out, that's okay. If they don't take you out, then they do this on the 1 hour. Let me show you that in the 1 hour. If they make an impulse and a correction and don't take you out, then you take off the trade. I guess most of you just learned something new, right? So let's go. Watch this. It could drop, it could drop, it could drop. As long as they stay in this here, they could drop for a long time. Eventually, they're going to make a move up, make a correction, make a bigger correction, and tell us whether it's dropping or whether it's going to continue to go. It's that simple. So what do you do if you're in a trade? You wait. If you're not in a trade, you don't have a sell setup as it stands right now. You cannot sell in a pattern like this. Your sell setup was last week from here. Your sell setup was from here. Your sell setup was that piece. Your sell setup was here. You need to take profit of those small short-term sells, right? Yeah, there is divergence to the 1 hour, but divergence to the 1 hour could simply mean a correction. right? Divergence is not a reversal sign. Divergence just means that the volume of trade that you were having that was pushing the market down is no longer there. It does not mean that that volume does not come in back and within the next day, right? Do I trade with entry orders? Yes. Specific timing, we trade with entry orders. We don't do that all the time, but we do put entry orders in trade. That's a specific strategy we have, how we use it, when and how we use entry orders, right? So watch this. You can't sell now. The reason you can't sell now is because of this. You don't want to sell now. If you're in that sell already, like my traders are in, and I'm in from the top, then you can stay with the trade and move your stops. You are not supposed to be selling here. This thing could drop 300 more pips. You don't have a sell set up on the 1 hour right now. So you have to wait. If they do make a bigger consolidation, then you get a sell set up. As of now, if you try to sell, you'll only take a loss, right? Because there is no sell set up there. That doesn't mean it's not going to drop. That simply means you cannot make the entry now. It's too late for that entry now. You have to wait for a correction. Then you get a better entry with a better risk to reward. Buying it now, I don't see a buy setup here either. Maybe if they, during the week, they make a buy setup, it will be a buy because I'm expecting them to make a correction up, but you don't have a buy setup. Holding depends on what you trade. If you're holding positions in news event, you'll have to depend on what is your trade strategy. If you're a position trader, you can hold it for what the news does not bother. You can hold it for however long you want. If you're a day trader, you should not do that. Day trader means if you take your trades and close them within the day. If you're a short-term trader, you should not be doing that because they will spike out your stop loss and that's it, right? If you're swing trading, well, news does not stop the swing from happening, right? It could change the direction, but then you will get out enough with enough profit, right? You should be enough profit for that. Should not bother you. I think we're making a correction here. Last week we told you about this. There are two ways we would look at this, right? We're expecting a turn, and they're turning, as you can see, right? We expected that to turn to the upside. Actually, they did break the low, and that changes something for us. They broke this low. We're not expecting them to break the low, right? When they break the low, the only thing, it doesn't mean that the upside is off. The upside is still possible. What they're telling us now is that the pattern we were looking for before is no longer going to happen. If it goes up, it's going to go up and make a different pattern. So you have 1 and you have 2. If this 2 goes up without breaking the low, that is a different set of patterns you're expecting. When this come break the low and go up, you're expecting another set of patterns. I hope that's clear to everybody, right? So with what it did now, it's telling us that it could still go up. Not necessarily it will go up, but it could still go up. But now if it goes up, we know how to trade this and we know what are the limits to it, right? That's a 5-week scores, Deshaun. If you want to know what to expect, that's not for this class or for this webinar, sorry. Yes. So as you can see, this pattern still could mean the beginning of an impulse to the upside, right? Because we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. We could go for 5. We could come back for a correction and we could continue to go. But as it stands right now, as you see this pattern here right now, you will always be expecting it to be a continuation pattern. Let me repeat that. As it stands right now, we will always expect it to be a continuation pattern. That could change. And there are specific things you need to look for to understand when this is changing to become an impulse. A slow start with 1, 2, 3, 4, makes 5, come back like this, go again, is possible. And actually, we have seen that. If you're one of my traders, you've seen this, right? You can even tell me which chart it's on, right? Having a leading expanding diagonal, you exactly know which chart. We've shown that in top trades. If you're not, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So wait for this. Right now, it's upside. The upside is limited. What do I mean by limited? The upside could just break this top and start to come back down. Yes, expanding leading diagonal, that's the name of it. But what I'm saying is not knowing the name. Everybody knows the name. The problem is, how do you recognize it? What's the differentiation from just an average correction to an expanding leading diagonal? That's the whole difference. How would you be able to tell when it's that and when it's not that? There are a number of things we look at to tell you that, oh, it's not that, not an expanding leading diagonal. Once we see that, it's okay, forget about it, we're going down, right? So that's the whole difference about seeing and understanding the structure. So if we get this, we'll be going up. You can get this and fall. So you have to know the difference between this pattern, the corrective structure and the leading diagonal that looks alike. They look alike, but they're different in their internal structures. So for you to trade this now, you just have to wait. I don't suggest you buy it here because that could just break the stop and turn. If you want to manage your trade, if you can manage it to get it to break even, you might want to take that risk. But I don't think a lot of you will be able to manage it if it just breaks the stop and come back. You'll take a loss and then you'll watch it go back up. If it's a leading diagonal. If it's not, well, then it's going to be a drop, wait for a sell setup. A perfect sell setup, then take it. New Zealand. Same here. The last week, if you remember, we were expecting this to go up. That went up, did not turn well. You could have bought that, did not turn out good. You could have bought this, did not turn out good. Look for a buy again. Why are we looking for buys here if they're not turning out good? Right? If you're making 3 attempts and you're getting break even out of the buy, not turning out good, I mean you get break even. That's a lot of pips for you to get break even, right? It moved enough to give you break even. If they're not turning good, why would you look for that buy? What are you looking for when you're looking for a buy at the bottom here? You're looking for this trade. That's your reward. If you get the buy perfect here, that is your reward. Right? That is the reward we're looking for if that happens. If that doesn't happen, then you get 3 break-even trade and you decide whether you want the shorter term sell. Actually, there was a short-term sell in here that I think we took in our trading room. That was this one. I think some of you may have taken that already. You saw this one and you saw that one. Those were short-term trades, right? I think there was a short-term trade here too. Once we saw that piece, there was a short-term trade for them to come back here. So that was a very short trade. And you might get a few short-term trades, but I think now you're going to expect this here, in particular this piece, to go back up some more, break this up. And then we will decide whether they're making corrective structure, they're taking off to the top. So the worst case will happen is you get a break even. In a good case, they take off and that's your trade, right? So watch this trade for upside because you're turning. And while I'm on this, I'll show you a very similar one. And I'll bring it to the daily so you realize why we tried to buy at the bottom. Remember why you're supposed to buy there 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts? Because you want that trade and you're here already in that trade. See? That's why you buy. You don't want to catch 10 pips there and 10 pips here. You want to catch this, and that's only the start of it. You want it to go. It's the same thing the New Zealand is doing right now. So is it going to make the turn now? So I think there are a lot of people who are going to say, hey, how can you say yen in New Zealand is going to go up? If you've never seen that happen, you still have a lot to learn in trading. If you've never seen the New Zealand and the yen going in the same direction, the dollar yen and the New Zealand dollar going in the same direction, you have a lot to learn in trading. So they do go sometimes in the same direction. If that starts to happen, you would be looking at 2 things. You'll be looking at the yen pairs and at the New Zealand pairs to understand which one of them is doing what I call the contrarian move, doing the opposite of what it should do if it's a dollar move. So if it's a dollar move, they all move against the dollar. When it's not a dollar move, which means it's yen moving, that means you're either gaining or losing value on yen. Then all the yen pairs go. And even if New Zealand is gaining value against the dollar, yen could continue to lose value against the dollar much more, right? So New Zealand yen goes up rather than down. So yen, dollar yen going up is yen losing value. New Zealand dollar going up is New Zealand gaining value. So both of those could happen at the same time. It doesn't necessarily mean that every move that happens is against the dollar, right? And that is why I did a webinar once explaining why there is no correlation in the market. People like to think that euro and pound moves in the same direction, and they're looking at the nominators and the denominators, and they're misunderstanding the entire market. People say Swiss and euro goes in opposite direction. Not always. And 2 economies are never correlated, right? Right? You never find 2 economies being correlated, right? It's not like the 2 governments said, hey, let's just make sure we're doing the same things. And even if they do the same things, doesn't mean their currency will be moving in the same direction, will be gaining or losing value equally. It doesn't happen. It can't happen. It's just unimaginable. So, if you want to remember a bad experience, remember when the Swiss peg their currency to the euro. That's a bad experience. It tells you that it cannot happen. It's impossible to do, right? Right? So that is impossible to do, which means you shouldn't try to look for correlation. Look at each currency individually. That's a question I get very often. How did he say this is going to go up, this is going to go up, and this one is going to go up too? I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? All of them structurally show me they can do that, right? So watch this. We're getting a correction here, but I think this could turn out to be a little bigger correction or take off. You're getting a buy setup here. If they consolidate here a little more, you'll get a buy setup, and that'll be a good one, right? So when they come to here, put that to break even, because they might want to make a third one here. They don't necessarily have to make it, because we're looking at another structure where this piece is part of that bigger structure. If it is not, then they will make three wave and then go. So it's either you get a bigger consolidation here or they really take off, right? Yes, I'm still in the yen. And not only me, a lot of my traders here are still in the yen, right? We're keeping that. There is no reason we should close it. If every day in my webinar, I'm telling you, don't close it, you should not be closing it. If you're with me and you took those trades, and every day in the webinar, we have daily webinars. Remember that? We also have, besides daily webinars, I'm also in my trading room 2-3 times a day. When I drop in the trading room and tell traders, give them advice what I think they should be doing with the trades and what trades we're looking for. So there is enough encouragement for you not to get out of it. Some traders take profit and get in back again. That's a different strategy, but if you're long-term, you should keep it. Swiss, we broke the top, and I think there's a time for a big consolidation. We did not get the big consolidation here. We did not get it there, which means there's time for that big consolidation to come now before they continue to go. So once we broke out of this daily structure here, if they're going to continue to go, either this is making 1, 2, 3, and we come down back, or they're going to continue to go. And the same thing is going to happen here. We need to see this consolidation. That would confirm the upside. So a consolidation is coming or a reversal is coming. You can watch for both of those and then see which one it works. Right now, I think short-term, you should look for sell setups. So this week, I think the whole week short-term, we'll get a lot of short-term sell setups on the Swiss. CAD, in a consolidation, they did break the top, so that tells me this down move might not be very long-lived. They might do this and pull back there and then come down. We might see a three-wave structure here. If you go in the 1 hour here, you're expecting a downside, right? Remember last week we said watch this to make a flag and then go down, right? It was at the top when I said they'll break the top, come down, watch for a flag. They didn't make a flag. They made three-wave. They came. They didn't break the low. They went up back, came, didn't break the low, went up back. Well, they're probably going to break the low and go back up. I don't think this one will be a long-term downside. The upside is still short-lived. You can take it to break that top, right? So first you would get a break of this low. Excuse me, 1 second, guys. You'll get a break of this low, and very likely they're going to go back up. I don't think they're going to go very long-term downside. It's rare in this when they break this top that they should go long-term downside, but look for a sell setup, take profit out of it, and then wait to see whether it's a reversal or it's a continuation. We're making a bigger correction in here. And I don't think it's reversing right now. I don't see that reversal signs yet because of the break of this top twice. Once is okay, twice is already changing structure. Silver, look for a buy setup. I don't think this is the one that is going, right? But you got to watch it. It might come back a little low and then go. This would be a perfect one if they come back once and then go, right? If they come down some more and then go, but they can go from here. It's kind of a weird pattern. You can put an inch short above the top, keep your stops below here if you want to. That's how we are trading it. Keep your stops below there and then manage the trade. Don't live with that loss, right? So what are we looking for in this pattern? We were expecting one more upside here. Probably even break this top and then come down. We're expecting them to break this top. If they go, we were expecting them to break that top and then come down, right? Let's see if they do that, right? Because we've got a break of this low. We've got a 1, 2, 3 pattern down, and we're expecting this like a 1, 2. I think the 2 is somewhere here, and you got a 3 down there, or we can look at 1, 2, 3 within this structure, right? We broke the low. So if that is not going to continue to go more, this will go up here, right? If they take you, and you'll likely go. I don't see a place where this becomes a correction for one more down, then go. In that case, you move, you get enough to get break even out of that trade. But I think it looks like it's turning. I want a better consolidation here to confirm that. This is a very small one, right? I would like this to probably, stay here for a while, come back here, and then go. This would be a good trade, right? If they give you a good consolidation, you have a higher probability of that trade going where you want it to go, right? Oh, sorry, I had to go the wrong one. That's a question I can answer after the webinar, Joseph, not right now. Let's go. So we've got a little move down. That was a short sell setup. You're still in the upside in gold. Gold is going to come break this top. And the whole structure looks corrective, right? This was a short run back to the trend line. They come back. You're going to break this top. And then this whole thing looks very corrective. Expect one more down, right? Gold does not have to go in the same direction as silver as well. That happens only when it's a dollar change. Now we can see price change in gold, because gold is going to be weaker in terms of its price than silver. You can know that if you look at the gold silver chart, that it's looking downside. So I don't think this is the start. This could be another expanding leading diagonal. I'm not sure it is. It looks a little strange for now, but you will get enough reasons to see whatever it is, right? Same thing like the New Zealand, I think, right? What for this? Which one? I think it was the New Zealand or the Aussie. You get that, and you get a move down, and then you will see whether they're going up or whether they're going to continue to go down. Once you get in that sell, you will see it, right? You will understand that that structure is not going, or it's going. It was Aussie, right? Great. So what for this one? It's very similar, and they did break the low, so they can take off, right? Which means a completion of a structure. Watch it. It's a good buy right now, and then see what happens to that. Worst case is you're going to get a break even if the buy doesn't go. Not right now. You don't have a buy right now, but it's setting up for a buy. Euro Oz, we're going down very nicely. We'll come back to break this low. And then we'll see whether they're going to take off. I don't have a feeling they're going to take off if they break this low. They might come back here and then do this. I think they're going to actually, if they break that low, we might end up with a bigger correction here before they go. I can see this making a much bigger correction. We will probably go break that top and then turn. We need to break the weekly top. There's that. This top. I think we need to break this weekly top. Keep an eye on that. So the question is, are they going to make a bigger correction before they do it, or they'll go right now? Well, we are making a correction here already. We're in a correction. 1, 2, 3. I think these waves are not ready for upside, so we'll probably see something like this, maybe something like that, come back here, and then go. A more complex pattern, that's all. So if you know the trade corrective structure, you might get a small trade down, you get a trade up, you get another trade down, and then you're ready for the big trade. We're trading within technical traders like to call them range. Well, you can say range. They're actually just making corrective structures, right? They're within a corrective pattern, and they will make a specific pattern that will tell us which direction they're going to go, right? So I think short term it's downside. Short term, you can look for sell setups until you break the low, and then you want to be very, very careful, because I don't think it's a fall as yet, but we don't know how far this wave is going to go before they turn, right? If this waves go very deep, they're unlikely going to make a long, either the correction becomes very deep, which means this wave go down very strong, or it becomes very flat, which means they get more smaller waves sideways. So if you take this sell and it goes very deep, good for you. Move your stops, because they will turn at any point. They can turn after they've made a very small sharp drop. Euro New Zealand, pretty much the same thing. With it in 4 hour, you can see. You're in this structure, and I think this is going to come down some more. You're going to expect this to come down some more here, and then we'll see the upside, right? That's pretty easy to see, right? That's not the hardest part. So you're coming down, look for sell setups. Let them consolidate here. Short-term consolidation here is possible. And then look for that trade. Look, this is a good example of what you're looking for. and then look for the next trade down. EuroCAD, it broke, went up, take out that one. That was a small one to come test the top, and then they fall. They're going down. So you can see that you're looking for the downside. Take that off. It's going down, and I think they can go much more. EuroCAD could go a lot more to the downside. Right? You broke the top, so they can really go. I think they can even break out of this up structure. So you want to really, really keep your eyes on this. This thing could fall very much. It's just broken a consolidation, so you're probably going to get a short-term sell setup. You actually have a short-term sell setup if you want, and then you track it as it goes. See how far they go. This can fall to the trend line and then go for a deeper correction, but right now it's going down. Euro yen, okay, look for downside. I think we're convincingly going down now. Right, they're just turning here. So watch this whole piece. We broke out of this. It's going down nicely. So any correction you get here, you can look for a sell setup. There isn't a buy setup in it right now. And the bigger daily structure looks more downside too. Right? Remember when this was going up, we were saying they're going to go down. We just wanted the confirmation here that this bigger correction is over. That bigger correction is over. So if this makes a small correction, you trade it down back to this level. All right, let's see how far they go. Remember, this one moved very fast before they reverse. All right, so let's see how far and how fast this goes before it reverses. Do we have a sell setup on the 1 hour? Let's see. We had a lot of sell setups. I think you can see the lines I have there. There was one here. There was one in there as well. And actually, there was the first one was here. If any of you took that, you're supposed to move that to break even here, and then it dropped below. If you kept the break even or you took off the trade code, you can get in back here, you can get in back there, you can get. You don't have one here now. Wait for this to turn, make a flag, and then sell. Right? So watch it, it could go, right? So this could really go. Keep your eyes on it. Euro Chief. I think we're in this weird pattern in the Euro Swiss. This one here. I'm expecting this to go a little more up there before they come down, but they started to make a correction in here, which tells me that they can drop one more to the downside here, break this low, then go up and then come back down, right? So I don't advise you to trade this because I don't think a lot of you, well, if you're experienced enough, go ahead and do that. Expect one down, expect one up, and then expect one down, and then they go. That is if you have the experience. If you don't, stay away from this trade. This chart, it's really, as you can see, right? Look at all those up and downs. You have to understand what it's doing in every piece of it. Otherwise, you're just going to take a lot of losses. So best thing, stay away from it. Euro pound, going up very nicely. We were expecting this to come lower, this piece here to come here and then go up. Well, they're actually going like this. And that means we're expecting a running flat in it, which is a corrective structure, but it doesn't behave the normal way of all corrective structures, which means this here just goes up and crawl up and crawl up and crawl up, then do this and then go. This is difficult to trade. It's really difficult to trade because you were expecting the downside and then they climb up. This is your buy and that buy doesn't go anywhere. You have a buy set up there, but that doesn't go anywhere. If you took that buy, you're like, what the hell is it doing? It's not going, right? It's probably not going to go. It's going to do this. It's going to come back here and then do this and, you know, like, and then make the sharp drop, totally confuse you and then turn to the upside. So you'll have something like that. And I think by now, every one of you knows and seen that pattern already, right? Pretty much. So you're like, okay, we got it. Seen that. If you're following me for more than 6 months, you've seen that pattern like 6 times. So we're going to probably break this top. And when we break that top, we'll be looking for turns, right? When we break this top, we'll be looking for the downside. I don't think this is the reversal. This is a sharp move down, but I'm not comparing it to this. It could be that that was only correction. This is your sharp move, and that's the reversal. But I don't think it's so, right? It's possible, but I'm not going to bet on that. So if I take this trade, if you take any buy here, once you break this top here, you start looking for one more down, right? You take this as 1, 2, 3. You have a similar one here. See this piece? When this was falling here, you can go back and check my charts. I actually have a chart posted with that. When it was falling and everybody's going crazy, oh, we broke this, we're going down. I was like, be careful, you're going up. You're not going down anywhere, you're actually going up. And a lot of people freak out. What is he saying about going up? Look at that thing falling. I remember it was falling. We call the upside from somewhere here, right? I call the upside from this piece here. Okay, guys, look for this up move. And it just dropped. And everybody's like, oh my God, this guy has no idea what he's saying. This thing is falling. What is he saying about going up? Guess what? You're trading. Watch the same thing here. It's going to go up very sharp. They might even make a spike here. But there's a high probability for downside before they go. Watch the structures, understand what structure they're making, understand whether that structure has a probability like that or don't have it, and what you need to have as confirmation before it proves that that is what it's doing, right? So what was the proof of the upside in this one? I think all of you can clearly see that, right? That confirms the analysis. The analysis was we were expecting it to go up. The rest of the world was freaking out that it's going to fall. And when it did do that, we wait for that confirmation and you can trade that up. See, it's not that difficult. It's pretty easy. But can you recognize it if we don't show you in the charts? It's easy. It's easier said than done, right? You got to learn to do that stuff. Oz coming down, and I think I told you last week, 2 opportunities of how this could move. One is we're making a reversal, or one we're making a flat, right? This is your first impulse, this is a flat, and we totally go down. That's one option. The second option is this is your A, this is your B, this is your C, and you totally go up, break the top, and then reverse. Right? They can still do that. From here, they can still do that. But the more this move, the less that possibility becomes. And when they break out of the structure, that possibility is no longer there, right? Are we breaking out of the structure? Not as yet. As most of you might have seen this line here and wonder, what is that? Well, that is, I was showing it to my traders, that very similar pattern, how they reverse. So I'll give you guys a bonus and show you it. Not supposed to be doing it, but I'll show you. So take this out there. You got one up. You got A, you got B, you got C. We broke out of that structure there, slightly out of that structure there. Don't break the low and then turn to the upside. So it looks like a flat, but it's actually a start of a correction to the upside. And what I was showing them, look for that possibility at the top here. Right? You got A, you have B, right? Sorry, this is A, B, C. This is A, B, C. Watch for that. This is your first impulse. That is A, B, C. Watch for the break of the top there, and then they can turn. So this becomes your first impulse. That becomes your B wave, and then you get a C wave down. Complicated B wave in here. There's a reason we figure out that complicated B wave was very possible. Not something we're going to do in here, right? But once we saw that whole structure, we thought to watch them when they come to that top, and then watch for the reversal within this structure, right? So it started to come down. The sell was from the top here. If you were paying attention, your sell setup was there. That was your first sell. If you're not my trader, the only people who are not in my group, how many of you took that trade? I think I asked that last week. I wasn't sure, but how many of you here took that trade? One person only who's not my trader. Come on, please. Only one of you? None of you saw that coming? Okay, no problem. One person is learning. And we're going down. So what you're going to expect is tung the pak chi. Well done. So what you're going to expect here now is watch this and watch for a sharp move somewhere here before they fall. So this would continue to go for a while, but they're going to make a sharp move before they reverse at some point. You're waiting for that running flat we keep telling you about, and we keep showing you every week. Every week I show you one of those that played out very well. This is more of a correction. It's not part of the impulse, but it's one of those corrections that stretches down very strong. So it's going, and it's looked like it will go very much. If this is going to go down, then that will be the start of the daily correction. We were telling you about that daily up move on the pound pair, right? All the pound pairs have that. So you got like 1, you got 1, 2, 3. You're going up. There's a good chance they could come back down. So how far will this come? Well, let's take our time and watch and see how it goes. You don't have to rush. You can wait for every correction and then sell it. go to the 1 hour, wait for a correction, sell it, right? You get a correction, you get a sell setup. This is going down, it will correct. At some point, it will make a correction. It's going to give you a sell setup. Pound New Zealand, remember the one I told you can keep if you sell it? That is the one we're still keeping. We told you that this sharp wave is going to make another sharp wave up before they go. They made a sharp wave here. They finished that pattern and they're dropping. See? It's like magic, right? This, I am not showing you this now and tell you, hey, look, this is what I said. We were following this from way back, and step by step, I'm giving you how it's going to behave, what it's going to do, what we're expecting it to do, and how it's going to go. And the reason we're doing that is because we're looking for specific patterns. How far that could go? I haven't changed anything in the charts, you know. These are still here. This one to the upside we told you about. Breaking the top we told you about. The reversal we told you about. We told you if there's anything you want to sell, you have to sell this one. Why this one? Because this one has a perfect setup. This is a gift given to you. This is a perfect setup. You don't get them so good every time. Go back to 3 of my webinars and look at every time I came to the New Zealand pound and I told you, guys, this will be a perfect setup. Don't miss it. Question is, how many of you got it, by the way? That's a good question. Not how many of you missed it. How many of you got it? One person got it. Anybody else got it? No? If you're not my trader, I'm not asking my trader, right? Same with it. Yeah, all the pound pairs had it. All the pound pairs are turning. But this one specifically, this was a no-brainer. This was like, you have to just get it because this one was so easy. You took 3 trades this week. Well done. See? So even if you're not my traders, you can learn a few things, right? Great. If you took it and you close it, you took some profit, but I wouldn't say close it. Because I think I warned you, if you want to keep anything, this is the one you're going to keep, right? You can take profit from all the other pound trades. That's what I told my traders as well. But you can keep this one, and you should keep this one. This one is worth keeping. Now we will all look for sell setups. If you're not in the trade, you look for a sell setup. You don't have one right now. Selling it here is a bad idea. So you would wait for this to drop, wait for it to make a flag, and then you look for a sell. Wait for a little bigger correction, then you look for a sell. Is it good? Excuse me, is it going to turn from here? I don't see that setup where it could turn from there, right? I'm not seeing anything that says it could turn from there. Everything that I see tells me they're at least going to come back to this area, and then we will know 2 things. We'll know whether they're going to bounce one more up or whether they're going to break. Based on what we have right now in the structure, we think they're going to bounce one more up. Who knows? We'll see when it comes here, right? Because it looks like it's going there very fast, faster than we expected, right? Even the corrections are running, right? They're running. You understand the word running, right? They're not correcting the way they should correct. They're running away. That's why you call them running flat. They go away from where they're supposed to be corrected, but they're still doing what they're supposed to do in terms of the purpose of that accumulation, right? So let's see. You probably will get another correction before it goes. So I wouldn't encourage you to jump into it right now. Pound Chief, very similar. Drop. This one here also, we thought you were going to have probably a 1, 2, 3 there. They actually came down and then make a 3 there. That was a flat. This is going, but it's not going so aggressive to as we expect. They're not going as aggressive. What that means is that they're probably just going to make slight correction. And we already had a correction here. See that? See the line, the line there for the break. So they broke that line. This could suddenly drop, but it will make a pullback, and then you'll get in the trade. So you don't want to get into this now because you don't know where this pullback comes. And when this pullback comes, you will get another sell opportunity. The reason you also don't want to sell this at the bottom here is because this, except for the pound New Zealand, all the pound pairs have a possibility of going here back. Even the pound Oz, although it dropped that much. The pound Oz is less likely now, but it could still go back up, right? This one has a very good probability of going back up there. So you don't want to be a seller here when it's going back up. You want to wait for that confirmation before you sell. I don't think it's going to go back up, right? Let me just make that clear. I don't think it's going to. I think we're totally going to fall. But we'll have to have enough confirmation for that. So if you're in the trade already, you want to put your stop at this level and wait. If they drop and make a correction, they're not supposed to break that level. Breaking that level will totally mean going back up. So you're going to get a correction here, and then we'd look for more sell setups. Pound yen. This one was a surprise because we thought this one was going to break the top first. We thought they're going to break the top first, then fall. So they started falling without breaking the top. And we still don't know what the hell of this pattern is. Because now if they'd confirmed what we thought, which means if they'd broken that top, it would have confirmed the C wave for us. By not breaking the top, the C wave is out. So the only thing we are looking at now from what we have is a possible 1, 2, 3 here and a possible 1, 2, 3 here, which means we'll have to expect one more up. If this pattern plays out, we're going to expect one more up here. But this is a big question mark because this B wave does not confirm the type of B waves we would expect to happen. So we're still a little confused with this pattern. And that means there is not enough parts in it to actually show us what is it. It's a complex pattern, that's for sure, but there isn't enough parts to say, okay, I see it very clear now. And that happens sometimes, especially if you remember I showed all of you the punk CAD once, right? If you were trying to trade that punk CAD for 3 years, you couldn't figure out what the hell is happening with that corrected structure, right? Because for 3 years it corrected, and then it took off like a rocket. So this is corrected. I think this is about a year now. I should say, so this is when, this is in 2016. Now it's 2018, more than a year we're in that correction. And we have no idea what it is. Right? So we'll have to wait. Maybe next year or so from now, we will watch it and say, oh, got it now. Now we see what they were doing, right? It's crystal clear now. But as it stands right now, I haven't seen any pattern like this. Nowhere. Now, when it's finished, we'll go back and look at the chart and say, have we missed some things previously? Is there something new that we didn't get, right? And that happened. There's a number of patterns that we identified, which we never got before. We couldn't see them because we never saw them before. And when you see them happening in front of you, and then you said, you know what, hey, we've seen this before. Let's go back and look at these patterns, right? And then we went back and we added them. Those are patterns you don't find anywhere. Even on ElliotWave.com or on Elliott Wave patterns, anybody posted, they don't have those patterns there because they're not there, right? And don't try to teach me Elliott Wave patterns because I know them. There are people who are coming and telling me that, you know, remember I was telling you that euro is not a triangle? All of you remember that? And one guy came and he was explaining why he thinks so based on Elliott Wave, this is a triangle. I was like, please, it's not. And we all saw that it's not, right? So he learned something. I hope he learned something. Because it's not a triangle. It turned out to prove it's not a triangle, right? And we knew that before he knew that. So that's the difference between what we do and what Elliott Wavers do. They measure something, they use a fib, and they said, oh, we're expecting a triangle. No, it's not. I saw that way before you knew it. That is not a triangle. And he was still insisting that you would not negate it. I was like, okay, stay a little longer and you'll learn something. It's not a triangle. That simple, right? That's how we know. That's the difference between what I do and what Elliott Wavers do. So watch this. We don't know what it is. Anybody tell you they know what that pattern is has no clue what they're talking about. Literally, they have no clue because I'm looking at this. I've been studying this like seriously every single day for the last year. This one pattern I've spent more time in than any other one. I still can't figure out what the hell it's doing. Not by any rules of Elliott Wave, not by any of my own rules, not by any pattern that we've seen that are irregular so far, nothing. It's just not there as yet. Wait, we'll tell you what it is. We'll figure it out all together, right in this room. Punkat. Going down. This one also, we anticipated there are two possibilities. One is that they're going to go back here, or the second one is they're going to break. So if you took profit at the line, you did well. They broke. So if they broke now, that confirms the bigger down move. The bigger down move on this one, how far it's going to go? Watch these lows. Watch all these lows, right? If they break out of these lows, that confirms a big downside. But right now, there probably could be part of a bigger correction, right? Everything's bats and butterflies, Joseph. Joseph, you're funny. Okay, let's go. 4 hours. Wait for correction and sell. That's all I can say. Wait for a correction. They had a lot of correction. You could have sold into. This was one of them. You could have sold into that. You could have sold into this one. But this one, I think I showed you. This is when this was here last week. Watch for 1, 2, 3. They will go back up because we're looking at that sharp wave for standard regular flat. Then they make a move down, correct, slightly drop. They're probably going to make a next correction drop. And then they'll make a deeper correction. So anywhere in here or here, expect a deeper correction, right? By the way, here is another running flat. Remember, we identified this 1, 1, 2, 3, let it come back here and drop. And that's a nice one. Aussie Chief, expect some downside here. It hasn't started as yet, but I think we start looking for this for some downside. Two things. If they break the top, that's a different structure. If they don't break the top, go for a big wave to the downside. Go for a big move to the downside. Right? If they break the top, it will still go down, but you're not necessarily going to get the big move. So buying it, I think, is a bad idea. You don't want to buy it more there, right? You just want to wait. Right, so wait some more on this. Aussie CAD, we're still expecting this big correction before we sell. Those of you who sold in this one, that wasn't a good sell, but if you sold in that one, great. Watch this piece here. I think we're going to get some more consolidation and upside. I would like to see this piece here consolidate some more, make a move up, and then give us a sell setup. Right? If we get that, it would be great. You can even get a buy setup here if you get it, right? If you get a consolidation here, you can look for a buy setup. If this starts to drop from here, I don't see a pattern whereby they can drop from here. Let me just check this piece here. Not a great one, but possible, right? If we see them start dropping from here, wait for a little flag and then start selling it to break the low. But I think they're likely going to do this and go back up one more, then come. More like this, see this piece here? Do that. Got 1, 2, 3. You get 1. You come back for a 2 here, go for a 3, and then come down. This is the pattern we were expecting. And that would be a good sell if you get that right. Aussie, New Zealand, it's kind of going up, but you have to have a lot of patience. I told you that. I told my traders that. You can buy the breakout. You just have to live with all the pullback they're going to make because they do make a lot of pullback. You can still buy a little, but if you're new, I definitely don't advise you to trade this. And if you're an experienced trader, it's a waste of time because you get very little reward, and the risk is great that they'll take out your stops before the reward comes. So like if you were buying a breakout here, if you saw this little something and you decide I'm going to buy there and they pull back like this, if you had a stop anywhere here, you lost that. If you had a stop here, you survived it and they go there. So this is what you would be risking, and this is all the reward you get. Not worth it. Stay out of it, right? That's not a good trade. Aussie yen, expect some kind of a pullback very soon. We are making some deep pullback here, so I think they will probably give you, I don't see this as a running flat for downside, right? We don't see that as a running flat for downside. So I think you've got to expect at some point here, you get a correction and you start to go back up. One more up like this, right? So look for a deeper pullback. It's not, I don't see that as a running flat as yet. We made it low, we're going up. If they give you a flag here, buy. If they give you a corrective structure, not so much a flag buy. If they're going to go down, if they're going to continue doing what they're doing here like this, the sell might be useless, right? If there's a fall coming on any of the yen pair or on any of the Aussie pair, you better trade another Aussie pair, not this one. If it's the Aussie fall, trade any Aussie pair. If it is a yen fall, trade any of the other yen pair, not this one. This doesn't have the best setup for a sell. New Zealand, we can look for a sell setup here now. We've got one up. We've got a pullback. We've got this. We fulfill this piece so they can go slightly up maybe and break, or they don't have to. Once they break this, you can start to look for a sell setup, right? We've got a correction in there, and once they break it, look for the sell setup, right? See that correction there? All the way to the top. They start dropping. Look for the sell. Look for this trade. If it continues to go up some more here, ignore the buy. Look for the sell, right? Pretty much the same thing you see here. Got to trade, got to pull back, look for the buy, right? Got to move, got to pull back, look for the buy. So look for the sell. It could go up a little more, but look for the sell. New Zealand yen. I think I may see this already, or it's like the Aussie yen. It's pretty much like the Aussie yen, yeah. Same thing. Same thing here. It's coming down more within that structure, short-term sell, but if you look at the structure, you will see that the sell setups were no good, right? Because we saw this, we saw a sell down, that came right back up. You got a drop, you're getting this one, you might get this, you might get another drop here, but the sell will pull back and take you out. So the best thing you do is wait for this to break out. right? When it breaks out, then you start to trade it to the upside. Those trades to the downside are not very good. New Zealand CAD. You can take trades. You can still take short-term trades here. This was a trade, take profit. You could probably get another correction here, maybe a little more like that, and then drop. If they do that, sell. The buy here, not a great idea. If they break through this low right now, and they could possibly also do that, break through this right now, you can look for a sell setup. It's going down and it has a lot more to go. And there's still a lot more for this thing to go. And we just broke this correction and we're making this impulse down, so there's a lot more to go. They can make a deeper correction and that would be better for you. If they make a deeper correction here, this would be a better chance for a good trade to the downside. The buy is not a great idea. Canadian. Okay, so last week we wanted this to come down, make a 1, 2, 3 flat for you. You can't ask for something better than that. We said, watch this, it's gonna come down, it came down. Whether you sell it or not doesn't make a difference. If you sold it, you make a couple pips. If you didn't, then don't worry, look for the buy. See? Exactly as you want it to happen, it happened. You can't ask for anything better than that, right? You're looking at it, you said, okay, give me one more down so I get a buy opportunity, right? They give you one more down. Well, you have to be careful with this here, though. Don't jump it. If you take this buy, be careful because there's a good chance you get 1, 2, 3 here, get one more down, and then the upside. This could also be a flat. Not necessarily it's a flat, but it could be a flat. So what you can look for is if you take the trader, you want to be careful. So they don't come take you out here and then go back up. If they go up a little, move your stop to break even and then wait, let them prove the breakout. If you don't want to take it here, wait for the breakout completely. Wait for the breakout, wait for a correction, then take the trade, right? So the trade has a lot to the upside. Put it to the 4-hour. This one is pretty easy for you to see. This one here was a difficult one for you to see. I thought that one was difficult. You got that move, right? This one here was difficult to see. We saw that, but it might be difficult for most of you to see that. Now you're getting a bigger correction here. You can see this one happening. See that? See this here? And then that happened. We can draw a lot of those for you, right? See this one here? I don't think most of you saw that one. And then this happened, right? There's a lot of them, right? I'm not even going to go to this piece. This happens. So you're getting a flat one. This is the flattest correction of all these corrections I show you. This is the flattest. Look for that trade. So let's see. Wait. You take the trade whenever you have a strategy that says, hey, I can take it now. And I will know how to put my risk and how to manage this. If you don't know how to do that, well, you're not ready to trade, right? I have a rule in my group. If any of my traders ask me, can I buy this or sell this now? The answer is always no. It doesn't matter if that's the best setup in the world. If you ask me if you can do it, the answer is no. You can ask all my traders. That's a rule. If you ask me if you should take that trade, it means you have no idea what you're doing. You're not ready for that trade. You're not ready psychologically as well as educationally. It means you don't know what you're doing. You don't have the confidence in the trade. You don't understand the trade. Because if you understand the trade and you have the confidence, then you don't need to ask me. That's what we train you to do. We train you to take the trade if you have the confidence and you understand the setup. And we train you how to manage that risk. If any one of those 3 points are a problem with you, then don't take the trade. Spend more time learning, and then you take the trade. It's the same thing I'll say to you guys. If you don't understand what I'm doing, don't trade it. Right? So make sure you know what you're doing before you take the trade. If any one of those things apply to you as well, if you have to ask somebody, can I click this trade? Is it the buy or sell? The answer to you is already no. Because you can't make your mind up on that, then the answer is no. Don't trade. You don't know what you're doing. You will end up losing more money than you make. Swiss yen. It broke the low. If you took the sell, I hope you're going to break even. It's not going very aggressive down, and we are expecting this to also, like all the yen pairs, we're expecting some correction here. I can't say that this is a reversal as yet because of the possible running flat. Possible running flat here. But if they break and make a bigger correction, we would look for upside somewhere from here. I'll have to get a correction in there before I decide it's an uptrade. Right? It's not a sell as yet. You have to wait for a correction for a sell. This is going to give you some kind of up correction before you get a trade, right? Cat Swiss, you can buy this. I don't trade this for one reason. It's very slow, and it pulls back quite a lot. It actually plays with your nerves. When you look at it on the daily, you think it's amazing the way it goes, right? When you look at daily, you're like, wow, why aren't you trading that? You said this thing is going to come here and then go back up. Remember that? Go and check the webinar. But I don't trade it. It looks good here. It doesn't look good here. See, we can see all of them, but they don't look good. They pull back very much. You can see how slow it's going. And it always pulls back deep. Look at this climb here. That thing takes a hell of a long, like it really isn't going anywhere. It literally isn't going anywhere. Look at those candles. But it keeps climbing slowly, slowly. So they'll do the same thing here. So if you're one of my traders, I'll tell you what I told them. Buy it and live with it, right? Buy it from here, buy it from here, buy it from there, buy it from this one, buy it from this one. You have to live through all these pullback. Just live with it. You can buy it here if you want to live with it. Can it make a deep pullback now? I think it can make a very deep pullback now. You just have to live with it because they will go break that top. Now might not be a good idea because of the risk to reward. There isn't a lot remaining in it. There's only about this bit. So I would probably allow it to make a deeper pullback because they make those deeper pullback and then go for this. If you get a deeper pullback, it will confirm a bigger impulse coming, which would be this. But until then, now it's risky to do. Right? Copper, same here. We're expecting this to go up, but it's not going anywhere. It's just stuck in the middle here. So wait. No trade setup. I still think we're going to go up. If you get any buys, it will have to be above this top if they go, right? If they do break out. If this thing comes down here a little, I'm not sure you want this sell, right? That sell is not going anywhere. So there's the good sell there. And this pattern is by itself tells us they're going to make a sharp move to the upside because when you get a pattern like that, you get a sharp move to the upside. See, you look at the two of them for similarities. You got this, you get that, you're going to go up. Question, is it from there? Well, if it's not from there, then I'm not interested in the sell. Oil. Yes, last week we said, watch this to see what it gives you in terms of a consolidation, right? And if it gives you consolidation that goes like this, come and start to go back up, you got your entry right there. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to take that off. That's an entry. You're not supposed to see that, but I think I accidentally forgot to take it off, right? So you got a flat, you got an entry. This is short term. You don't want to keep that for very long because they will still have to make a deeper correction. We don't have a deeper correction. If you're my trader, you say, okay, I see it. If you're not my trader, you're still wondering what he means by a deeper correction, right? So at some point, this will have to make a deep correction and then go, right? At least come back to break the top. So we still don't have that deep correction, which means this upside is, you could go a little more, maybe do this, come back here, do that, but then that deep correction to confirm. So if you're taking these trades, you can take them. As you see, we do take them. But you have to take off profit. Don't keep them, right? Once they go enough to give you profit, you start taking the profit out of them. And I think all of you should have seen this. Anybody who's not my trader took that buy? If you're not my trader, anybody, if you trade oil, anybody, okay, nobody took it, no problem. So if you're in my group and you trade oil, that would be a good trade for you. Okay? UK oil. Now you don't want to go. You may get another buy setup here. It's going to be short term. You may get another short term buy setup here. Watch it when they come to the top. You see I have it from here. That means breaking that top and then downwards. So when they break this top, you start being careful. Because the same thing here, you have the deeper trade that they have to make that deeper correction, right? They have to come back to make a deeper correction at some point here before they go up, right? They all behave the same way. What we are training you is not Forex. We are training you how to read the charts, how to understand how chart patterns behave, how to understand where and how you see directions, how you can make those forecasts. So if you're trading this one, natural gas, watch this piece here. If they break this structure, and they might likely break it. They might just come not too far away, make a running flat in here, and then go back up. So if you're looking for a sell setup, it's not the bigger sell setup we were expecting. It becomes a short-term sell setup, right? So if you sold that, take profit. If you get another sell setup here, sell it, take profit. You will not be buying until you break out of this structure. So they could be buy, but not until you break out of that structure, right? I think they're going to break this one here, come a little more down, probably about like something like this, and then we can start to go back up, right? So watch it. S&P 500. This was a nice buy. I think that was last week. Was it last week or was it before last week? After last week this happened. Anybody got this buy? That was a nice one. I think it happened after, so you're expecting more upside now. This pattern is changing, and it's changing radically. So we watch it when it comes back here. I think somewhere there is a good one, right? So watch for this trade. We're still looking at whether this was the running flat or whether we're making a bigger complex pattern to see, right? So I think this would be the running flat there. One, we got this. We're looking for this piece up, right? There was a big running flat in here, this one. I hope all of you saw that. We got this piece up, so we're still expecting this piece up here. And then we'll see what happens. A sharp move down again, right? So I think more upside is in this one. I have, and all my students have. If you watch my webinar, you would see. And I will put out again later this year, right? And we have a hell of a lot of our traders in here who have doubled their account. Any one of you guys in the room now, just give a yes if you're in my room and you've doubled your account. I don't know if any one of them are here, but in our group, they post very often when they double their account. I have one student, but he is very aggressive. I don't think you can manage his level. He has 300% up from the start of the year. I don't think even my traders, a lot of them can do that, but I can verify that because I've seen the account. But not all my traders can do it, right? He has 300% up so far for the year. That is not so easy to do. That is really hard to do, right? Yeah, well, there are a lot of scammers. I told you that if you're watching the start of the webinar. You have traders in here. Well, one only Dijan told you. Well, I would not take Dijan because he's a serious trader and I know him. I was looking for more new traders. I was looking for Tom in the room. I was looking for the other guy. He's there. They're in the room. If they're in there, Victor is here. Yes, he could tell you. There are a lot of my traders. I mean, it's still up to you. I wouldn't say because my traders are making success, you will make success, right? So here's the deal. If you ask me if you take my course, if you're going to be successful, I have no idea. The answer is I don't know. Don't even ask me. The answer, I tell people that. The answer is I don't know because I don't know you personally. If you ask me how my traders are doing, over 60% of them are making money, right? Over 60% of them are making money in the group. You just got an answer from another trader of mine in the group, right? So we do those polls very regular, 60% making money. Now the rest 40%, still struggling, but we work with them. We don't leave them. We do one-on-one with them. I do with them. My trainers do with them. The group is helping them, and you see change. I did one-on-one with a guy. Let me see, Stas in the room. Sorry, I have to use your name, but this guy has a serious question. I did one-on-one with a guy, one of our traders called Stas, and he called me last week to show me the progress he's making since I did the one-on-one with him. Right, like just keep it up. That's what we do when you're struggling. We get there and we help you, right? So let's go on with the webinar. Let's not make the webinar an advertisement. You will learn. Eventually, you watch my trading and you make your own choice. Dax, I say don't worry what my traders tell you. They all love me, so they will tell you anything that is nice. You go and do your own homework. Watch 100 of my webinars. Make your choice. If you're new to it, watch my webinar for a couple months before you make that decision. Don't just jump into it. And don't listen to my traders. They love me too much. They will not tell you the truth. Right? They're telling you the truth, but I would make the assumption that you should decide that they're not saying the truth because they like me, right? You should not take their word for granted, put it that way. I know what they're telling you is true, but you don't take it for granted because they're my traders. What else are they going to tell you? That is why I don't publish, people said, hey, do you have, what you call this where people make their statements? I said, what do you want that for? If I go to my group and say, hey guys, I want all of you to write something nice about me, I will have about 100 statements like that to show you. Well, they have no choice. They will have to write it because they're in my group for life. You can imagine, right, Victor? Victor is going to tell you. Victor is with me for 2 years now. If Victor is going to say anything bad about me, I'll throw him out of the group, right? And he doesn't want to risk that, right? So he's going to say something nice. You should not listen to that. You should do your own homework, right? Go look at all my webinars, look at what forecasts I made, and you decide, well, hey, this guy knows what he's saying or he doesn't know what he's saying, right? Right? No, we will not post results. I don't even allow them to post their results in the room. They can say what they're doing, but they don't. We have a different structure how we do it. We don't want to discourage people who are not making money as yet. And I don't advise them to show results anywhere. If you don't trust them, that's okay. Don't take the course. Don't join us. It's very simple. If you take this as a scam, don't join. Full stop. Don't post your results. I don't encourage traders to do that. That's just a very fair thing. You see one of my results and you'll see mine at the end of the year again. Right? So I don't think my traders should do that. They don't have there's no reason why they should do that. Either you like it or you don't like it, right? Right? That's easy. How you can join the course, we'll talk about that at the end. So let's look at this. Let's go back. Don't distract from the webinar, guys. Let's go. So watch this here. There's a good chance we're making a running flat, and they will probably come down some more, right? I don't think they'll break that top, but if they do break the top, which means you don't have a buy set up here as it stands, right? You had a buy, that buy is gone, right? I can show you where the buy was. That was the buy. There was a buy before that. There was a buy in here. There was a buy in here. That buy is gone now, right? You're already at the top here. So what you're going to do is you're going to be careful now. They can go downwards, right? You've got to move here, and this could start the downwards movement. More up move in this. Last week, we were showing you that this is probably going to go up more because of this pattern. So you may want to watch it. They might make a little move up. I think they can even come back to about this level here, making more of a flat looking pattern before they come down. All right, I don't think this is going to be the up move because we're still in that big correction and it will take a long time. All right, so they're kind of making a C wave within the B wave. All right, watch for this to upside. I think some upside. If you get some correction, that will confirm your upside. Can they turn from here? They can, but I'm not looking at that as yet, right? I'm not looking at this piece here as a running flag. Not as yet. They'll have to come down, make a flag, and then we will consider that downside, right? I still think there's a good chance that this whole structure here is going to go back up somewhat, then come down. See? So keep your eyes on it. Nifty turned, so now you can start to look for your sell setups. Make sure they give you a flag, and then look for sell. We will correct this before they go back up, or we will reverse this depending on how you look at this whole piece here. All right, it's either a reversal for that impulse down, or it's a correction to go back here and then come down. Like I said, depends on how you look at that whole piece there already that happened. And there are a couple options of how it could develop, but look for sell setups right now. Short term, look for sells. If you want to keep them, it's okay. If you want to move your stop and stay with it, that's good. If you want to take the profit, that's even better, right? Let's go. We're running out of time. Let's go to the Bitcoin. Very deep pullback, right? Let's go to the 4-hour. So you can see the lines from where we're looking at them. We got a B wave here that says 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this to come here, and then we're looking for that to go back up. Pretty much a flat in the middle there, right? So you're going to go back up. You might even tag the top. You don't necessarily have to tag it, but you could tag the top. But this is 1, that is 2. We're going to come back down. So we're just going sideways in waves that go down, go up, come down, and go sideways, right? So let's go. Next one. Ethereum. Pretty much the same thing here. This one, I think this is making some kind of a running flat here. They'll probably come slightly down, maybe to about this area here, and then go back up, right? It's also going sideways in the bigger picture. If you go to the bigger picture, you're seeing the same thing. 1 down, 1 up, you're going to get more down. This is not enough. I don't think we're going up as yet. It's not the total upside. They're going to consolidate here before they go, but you have a buy setup forming right now. XRP. Okay. So the question is, how high would this go? I think the same thing. You're looking for 1 down and then look for more upside. Let's put that in the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, you're getting the downside. I think this is making a bigger structure here. Watch, this would probably come here, and then you're expecting upside. Somewhere in here, you're getting a correction. Upside. How far this goes, it could become a much more bigger complex pattern, but I think they're going to probably go back up. So wait for this move to finish. Look for your buy setups above the top and go with it. If you want to buy lower, the lower point of buying was already here, right? It was way in the bottom here, not at the top here. And let's see what else we go. I think that's about it. Right, that's about all the ones that we do. Let me put a stop on the. We can take some questions, but I don't want the YouTube video to be very long. So for the YouTube people, if you want to join us live, remember you can get the link is on my Facebook page, Pro Wave Trader. I think I've shown you that already. It's on the description in the video that I post. Take the link from there so you can join us, because I'll have to stop the YouTube video live. We don't want that to be too long, and we will take questions. So thank you for coming. If you're on YouTube, you can still join us if you want on the link, or you can initially join the link. That would be the best way to come, right? So thank you for coming. See all of you. I'll stop the YouTube live and we can take questions.